Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast, now in our 5th season, looking into the exciting happenings of Ipswich Town Football Club. My name is Benjamin Blooming. You're tuned into the flagship show, available each and every week on video and or audio. So for a sometimes irreverent but always informative hour or more of football conversation, make your Monday a Blue Monday. David Diamond's here, and probably what everybody's wondering, Dave, have you ever been to an escape room?
I haven't, no.
I don't know why that's on my mind at the moment. Craig's also here. Craig, have you been to an escape room?
I have been to 2 escape rooms.
Stop everything.
Stop.
Tell us about escape room number 1,
the
Craig.
Front page.
I think they were both in Colchester. The first one, I think, is related to the ones that the Ipswich players...
Don't know what you're talking about.
Escape from with suspiciously 1-2 seconds to spare.
Like when James Bond presses the button and it says 007 on the thing. Yeah. Dave will probably tell you what Bond movie that is, and then I'll say stop getting Bond wrong.
Goldfinger, of course.
I don't know.
That's
Go ahead, Craig.
So I did one in Colchester. This is with the kids and my other half. And they're very good, actually. The people that run them are very good in that they'll give you enough clues to sort of help you out of the room in time, so you think you've accomplished the mission sort of thing. But I think we did ours in about 50 minutes. We certainly didn't do ours in 59 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever the Ipswich fellas did.
Dave,
wasn't apparently Cole Skews the master escapee?
Again, don't know what you're talking about. Dave, we went to the botanist in Reading where I play the piano, and you sit, you look out the window, and there's an escape room just opposite. So I've spent many a bored hour playing some pop song for the millionth time, kind of getting it wrong a little bit, looking over at the escape room. Dave, you're the boss at your work. Do you do team building exercises?
Really,
or did you do your own in-house training?
Of course, obviously own in-house training. I actually had to do some not my own in-house training, but had to attend some training. Listen to this, on Friday in London, the group I work for, we had 3 hours of behavioural training, which was interesting.
Sensitivity training. This will go quite well as a seg for the next item, which I'll move on to. But look, I'm sure we're going to talk about the escape room with reference to me walking out of the ground yesterday and hearing about 8 people going, I wish I'd been in training rather than a damn escape room. That was the talk of Portman Road. But TWT reported that Club Secretary Stuart Hayton says Town are determined to tackle an increase, I quote, in racist, homophobic and xenophobic chanting. The gentlemen have just moved awkwardly in their seats, as we do with these type of conversations. We did have a little chit-chat with about this in the WhatsApp group. Look, I'll go first and give you my 2 penneth on this, and then either of you guys can come in afterwards. I think we would all admit that there's been a lot of work and a lot of improvement in the racism issue from the terraces. I think now most people understand that it's not acceptable to join in racist chanting or any type of racist abuse. I think there's been a big improvement of that, certainly since I've been watching football, and that's kind of generally acknowledged. There's still the odd kind of invisible thing where people of a certain mentality don't quite understand that they might be being what other people would construe to be being racist. The homophobic issue, I think, isn't as far along, and you get a hell of a lot more, let's say, digs and words. And I watch Leeds a fair amount during Championship. Luke Ayling has long hair and is often subject to homophobic abuse because of the length of his hair, and I don't think people understand, etc., etc. Xenophobic, massive. Always you hear lots and lots of it. Guys, my contention here, and this is good. Yeah, we don't want racist chanting, we don't want homophobic chanting, we don't want xenophobic chanting. Is that I still believe that people feel comfortable in a football stadium being abusive to either a referee, a footballer from their own team or another team, or the opposition fans. And I think, for example, I sat yesterday and heard a man for 20 to 30 minutes abusing Will Keane. And I don't think he thought he was abusing Will Keane. I think if you went up to him, he would have said, look, I'm at the football and my team's playing badly. What else am I supposed to say? And Dave, I'm still worried with abuse at football that people still feel very comfortable. And obviously we have the monster that's Twitter now, where people behave on a daily basis in an absolutely terrible way to each other. Do you see where I'm coming from? That yes, there's been a lot of work stopping the racist stuff and the homophobic stuff, xenophobic. Yes, we all understand that. But there's still a general sense that people feel they can go to the football and personally abuse football players, referees and other supporters.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, for me, I'm obviously on that good bit old, as you know, I keep harping back to, and I started watching football in the 70s, for goodness sake. You know, we know that any black player back in the 70s was just, when I think back now, horrific abuse, but it was just accepted back then. So things have moved on tremendously, and obviously, you know, for the better. I mean, the guy you spoke about yesterday that was abusing Will Keane. That's what people do. Some people just basically go to the football to let off steam for 90 minutes on a Saturday afternoon, and that's their way.
Do they understand that they're abusing someone? And that on the one hand, it's Will Keane, that wasn't very good, is different to Will Keane, you effing useless prick, you know, da. Do they understand the difference?
I don't think perhaps they do. No, that's just like I said, what they go to the match ball to let off steam. But as far as the abuse on all fronts, I mean, there's been tremendous since through the 70s, even through the 80s, 90s, maybe. I mean, it's just moved on to such a great extent that I must admit, when I go to the match now, I don't stand or sit in areas unless we go away. I never hear it.
Craig,
unless you go to Auckland.
Is it ever going to stop, Craig? This culture that if a referee makes a decision that a football fan doesn't agree with, that they feel that it's okay to personally insult, and we've seen this past couple of weeks with this Caroline Flack business, that people are actually starting to now turn online and say, look, can people just stop being horrible to each other? Is this ever going to transmit into the football ground? I know people are going to think I'm being a massive snowflake here, but I think there's a bigger problem. Yes, I'm not downplaying the work that's been done on racism and stuff, but I think generally in society there's a bigger problem than just racist abuse, homophobic abuse, whichever ism you're going to talk about, than just people feeling it's okay to abuse other people.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't think Danny is going to stop at football, is it? It's going to have to take a monumental sea change in a lot of people's attitudes to stop abuse at football matches. But, you know, is it something that's just taken as read as going to happen at football matches? And I'm not saying the homophobic or the racist or any misogyny or anything like that, but just Keane, you effing useless C, you know, that's going to happen at football matches. Referee, you're a blind XYZ. That's going to happen. You're never ever going to change that. What they're going to have to try and stamp down on is, I say, the more personal, specific abuse that does come under those particular headings. I think that, and they do, don't they? You've got the, you know, text this number to report it, stamp out racism, XYZ. And I'm like Dave, you know, I sit in the family enclosure upstairs, so you know, there's nothing said up there. As Dave says again, it's away matches, you do hear it, but then, you know, I've been to a dozen or so away matches this year. I can't recall having heard anything that I would have, you know, associated with it.
However, sorry, Craig, I stood with Jordan, my son, we thought it'd be a good idea for the commentary game, the FA Cup replay. Only like 6,000-7,000 there, awful night. Well, we went, I don't know, but last minute thing, we'll go, we'll buy tickets on the game. And actually stood in the Sir Bobby lower, and just dogs abuse right through the game. I mean, dogs abuse, you know, just frequent, well, every other word I think was the C word, and, you know, right through the game. And you sort of think, really? You know, I just couldn't, and I'm no prude, good God, you know, you've seen it, you've grown up with it, but right through the game. Absolutely.
Yeah, you do. I do notice that a lot. So I go with my boy who's 12, and he knows all the words, as it were. But away matches, you do get it. And if you happen to be standing near a certain bunch, I don't know who these people are, but as they said, every other word is the C word. If it's the ref, if it's the lino, if it's the physio for the other team, if it's the bloke walking past the front, a steward, everyone is. But what you just can't do anything about that. That's just the way of the world.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think it's going to develop. I just wonder whether I don't know what the right approach is. Whether you tackle the big issue that I'm talking about of just people just generally abusing everyone while they're at the football, or you do what actually is happening, where you go in one way. I'm not for once saying, and Joe raised this in the WhatsApp group. There's got to be the banter. There's got to be the fun. It's okay to question a ref's decision or lament a misplaced pass or what have you. But I just feel that 90% of people that give the type of abuse, if a customer wherever they worked spoke to them in that way, or they overheard, because players do hear, I don't know how they'd react. But hey, look, big soapbox on that.
Just one point, when I said frequent use of the C word, I didn't mean crap.
That's tremendous. Something else that's tremendous, Dave, is he's on the grass. He's Kane Vincent Young, and he's 2 or 3 weeks away. I was asked on the radio yesterday, is that going to change our season, Dave? Kane Vincent Young on the way back. And also, can he play wing back? We've not seen him play wing back.
Oh my God, Ben, I don't know. I mean, great. It'll be great to have him back. I fear it's going to be 2 months too late, probably. To be perfectly honest.
Too much, too little, too late.
Too much, too little, too late. Too much, too young. Yeah, it's look, it'd be great to have him back, but time on the grass is one thing. Getting match fitness. I mean, I think I saw somewhere bounded about. He's even been mentioned for perhaps Blackpool and Fleetwood, in which are games in the next couple of weeks coming up. So. A fit Vincent Young, displaying his form pre-injury. Yeah, of course he's going to be a real tonic, a real asset to the side. But I think it's going to be too late to make a difference to our season.
Isn't his points per game about 3.1 at the moment or something? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
We don't even do the extrapolation now, do we?
He was interviewed himself, wasn't he? There was the supporters club quiz during the week, and they got a question into him after that, and he himself said he's hoping to be back in early March. So. And you say, can he play wing back? He can probably play wing back better than Gwion Edwards can play wing back.
Keep your powder dry on that one.
Probably could.
Craig, we'll get onto it. We'll get onto that. Craig, ships that pass in the night might be Kane Vincent Young and James Norwood, because Norwood is going off for a second groin operation. Lambert says he'll be out for a few weeks, but he'll be back before the end of the season. We have to get the groin sorted out, and hopefully that is what will happen. In context, we can do this a bit later. Craig, talk about the impact of losing one of your 4 forwards, who's the only one who's a physical presence and an aerial presence.
Yeah, I know. Well, thankfully, we've got 3 strikers who are going to be readily available for us for the next few matches, and it won't have as much of an impact.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah, it's we don't know the ins and outs of it, do we? He obviously had an operation in October time, did he, for the same thing, and it obviously either hasn't worked or didn't do as much as they hoped it would have done.
Usually this stuff is like scar tissue and stuff, isn't it? That happens a lot.
Yeah, that's right. And groin injuries just sort of hang around, don't they? They're just always there in the background unless they're properly looked after and properly sorted, and you've got an elongated period of time to get over them. I just think maybe they thought they could do like an interim operation mid-season just to sort of get him through to the end of the season. It patently hasn't worked out like that. But how many games has he played consecutively for Tranmere and Forest Green and that over the last 7 or 8 seasons? He must have been playing 40, 50 matches a season for them without any issue.
Certainly 200 plus, I think, Craig.
Goals as well. Every game on shitty old pitches, slogging it out down in the non-league, and then comes to us and gets a couple of dozen games under his belt.
I'm not even sure what Vincent Young's record was before he joined us. I'm sure it was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think he actually played that many games, had he?
Probably played not as seasons for Cole obviously not. Yeah, but can't legislate for it. You really can't. But always seems to happen to us, unfortunately.
It does. David, Tommy Smith. We all dream of a team of Tommy Smiths. Has joined Sunderland until the end of the season. Can you talk to me a bit about the transfer? And is this specific to Ipswich? Fans hankering for former players to come back when there are presumably thousands of footballers registered professional, or is this just a general football fan trait? Because every time one's available, there's a big outcry for them to come back. So give me your view on the transfer and that idea generally.
Well, the view of the transfer
until the end of the season.
He came back.
He
came back from Colorado, I think, and apparently been had been training with the under 23. So I'm not sure he was even training certainly with the first team squad. And it was obviously posted several times on social media. Tommy Smith, what a great signing he would be. For one reason and another, you hear all sorts. I won't go into that. You heard all sorts of rumours coming out about, I don't know, potential clash of personalities and perhaps didn't want another strong personality in the dressing room, whatever that was. And I think Sunderland have got quite a decent signing. Perhaps it's a no-brainer really till the end of the season. I think one of their central Bailey Wright, one of their central defenders, is out reasonably long term. So he didn't play yesterday. He was on the bench. Didn't come on yesterday. I checked that. But and I think. Yeah, why fans? I mean, it's just a memory of better days gone by, isn't it? You tend to relate to Tommy Smith in the 14-15 season. Tommy Smith regularly scoring, I don't know what, half a dozen goals a season. We just haven't got that anymore. So I think that's what fans, I think, sort of tend to think of, that it's a memory of much better days, really.
Do you think
much better periods of the club?
Craig, do you think that's specific to Ipswich because we've just been kind of on a downturn for so many years?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we've just been sort of starved of any, and as Dave said, we're just harking back to when we had a half decent season 5 years ago. Yeah. But in terms of transfer, if it's 6 months, then Christ Almighty, what's the harm in just getting a guy in who was already here, who's living locally, who knows the club, hasn't got to be integrated or anything. Just for the sake of 6 months, getting you to the end of the season, you never know what's going to happen with injuries. Hint, hint. Just get it done. I mean, it's not going to cost the earth, is it?
To me, it seemed a no-brainer, but obviously it was.
Mick Mills spoke well, as he always does, though, about presumably the size of the squad and the wage budget's probably been stretched right out, given how many players we've kind of managed to.
Tell you what, squad's not looking quite so big now, is it?
Dave, shall we go to yesterday's game? I made my return to Portman Road after a couple of months away. So what that means is the book is back with pink writing. The night before, I saw Wayne Rooney taking the mickey for Derby. We were talking. Maybe you can bring this up at the end, Dave, about the chasm between the Premier League and the Championship against the chasm between the Championship and League One. Because having done 2 games in 2 days, I think I might be able to speak on that a little bit. Let's go through this team, Craig. Unchanged, isn't it? So Holly in goal, Wolfenden, Chambers, Earl is what we think is a nicely balanced back 3 there. Edwards right wing back, Garbutt left wing back. Downs, Nolan and Judge. I'd like you to speak a little bit about that triumvirate and how they work together. And Caden Jackson and Will Keane up top. You've won 4-1 the previous week. It would seem fairly sensible, Craig, to keep the same team?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no qualms, no problems with that. It's, as you say, it's balanced, isn't it? Just all across the pitch, it's just nicely balanced, left and right. You've got 2 left footers on the left-hand side of your defence. You've got 2 right on the right. Chambers is probably more suited to being that central stopper, if you like, rather than one of the 2 marauding centre-halves. Judge, Jackson and Keane obviously played very well against Burton, having been given the freedom of Portman Road to do so. It's just that the central midfield, isn't it? And Downs yesterday was everywhere. First half especially, he was absolutely everywhere. He was breaking stuff up. He was not only just in front of his back 4, he was breaking stuff up in the final third. It's just that other central midfield. And I'm not saying you can drop Nolan because he was part of a team which done very well last week, but it's just that other space in that central midfield is still open to conjecture. I would suggest.
Dave, I've got so much to say because Craig did something really interesting there. He didn't even include Judge when he was talking about the central. He said, "Oh, Judge, Jackson and Keane," as if, well, Judge isn't even an issue. Dave, is there an optimum configuration for three central players? Do you prefer one stopper to number 8s, etc.? Do you prefer to sit in and a number 10? Do you prefer this attempt at a 6 and 8 and a 10 that we seem to be doing, or do you just work off your players? Because it seems like we've got several different ways we can do it. Well, what do you prefer, and how do you see the best configuration?
I think I prefer a shield. I think I prefer a one in front of the back four there, a 2, and then Judge someone in that 10 role. And you say about the players. Surely the players are good enough to, Christ Almighty, work that out for themselves. They really are.
And what?
No, I mean, to me, yesterday, yes, it worked well. Craig said it worked well the week before when the players had pretty much against, I thought, were a really poor Burton side. They had the freedom of the park. Nolan, for me, yesterday, he's such a frustrating player. You look at Nolan, I look at Nolan, and I've said before when he last season, more than held his own to a degree in the Championship and a poor side. And this season, at times, he looks great, but he just doesn't. It's not laziness. It's just not brave. He's just, for
Dave,
me,
I'm
he's
going to
just
sound like a broken record again.
He's not brave with the ball.
Yesterday, you're coming up against a tight midfield 3 with rotation as well, and it just seems, Craig, for years we haven't been able to cope with that, have we?
No, absolutely not. And as Dave says about Nolan, he probably is the most technically proficient player we've got in that midfield. He can take the ball in tight spaces on both feet. I couldn't tell you if he's right foot or left foot. He just pings passes off. When he's up for it, which is very, very rarely, he's a real good modern, you'd say, central midfielder. He was probably man of the match away at Fleetwood. He was playing a little bit further forward, but it's just mentality thing. It's just weird for a guy who scored umpteen goals for Shrewsbury in presumably a more attacking role. He just doesn't seem to be. I don't know, whether he's told not to do it or doesn't fancy doing it. Who knows? Frustrating.
So going into the game, the upside for Ipswich, they're in 7th. Upside, a win would have taken them 5th. I saw Oxford a couple of weeks ago, although can pretty much write off any information I took from that game because it was just about the worst conditions I've ever seen a match. But Dave, since then, Baptiste, the centre midfielder, has gone to Brentford, and Fosu, one of the wingers. But they seem fairly well stocked yesterday in both of those
certainly did
areas. One change since the win over Wimbledon. So we had Eastwood in goal, Ford, Dickey and Moore, the centre halves, Ruffles. Dave loves a bit of Dickey. Goran is the deep line playmaker. Brannigan and Brown again in midfield with some rotation. We like to see that.
Fluid.
Henry down the right. I always worry with a player called Henry. I think, is he going to be more Henry or is he going to be more Henri? That's always a worry for me. Holland down the left, and Matty Taylor is the number 9. The upside for Oxford, a win could have taken them 8th, and a big Oxford crowd. It's half term, isn't it? It's a really big day out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Touching 2,000 there. Off we go into the first half, and Dave, it's a first half that Ipswich really, up until around the half an hour mark, are the better side, more possession, a bit more territory. Oxford not managing to play through their playmaker, but only half chances, Dave. And generally, when Jackson gets the half position out wide and cutting crosses back, but a not bad first half hour from Ipswich, Dave.
No, good. I mean, obviously right in front of where I sit, and Edwards and Jackson, very good down the right there. Jackson, had a beating of the fullback, and very good at this. He squares the fullback up, just gets the ball out of his feet, and I don't think the ball's in. Cutting these balls back from the ball, I think they were just decent balls, but we just. You're right. They ought to have. It sounds odd. They ought to have been clear-cut chances, but they just sort of type half chances. We didn't quite connect, and I mean, it just didn't quite happen. And that was that sort of game. I think we had 2 or 3 of that, maybe 3, certainly 3. I think I can remember. Ball just didn't quite. Well, you'll get to these chances. The ball just didn't quite fall, or we get good connection in and really good defending. It's a block. And this is Ipswich, and you think, yeah, we're gonna pay for this. We're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, so there's one for Craig. There's one for Garbett that comes on his right foot. He's being closed down. There's one.
Yeah, that was a good chance.
There's one for Nolan where it opens up and it's fairly well blocked. There's one slammed across, all created really by Jackson's running in behind and Keane doesn't.
The best one was, I think he created one where he fizzed it across, and I can't remember if he took it off Keane or who he took it off, but Downs had a flick at it.
Oh, the back heel. Yeah,
I think Garbett was behind.
In a much better position than when the right footed one that went over.
The problem is Downs has seen Kiefer Moore do that exact same goal for Wigan last week, hasn't he? And he's like,
Kiefer Sutherland, Dudley.
I know Kiefer Sutherland, Roberto, Dudley Moore. I can do that. Craig as well. Will Keane getting up at the back post from a corner from where I was sat is one of those embarrassing ones where you think you just think it's gone in and you're up and it's like, oh, sit down.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he didn't even hit the side netting of that, did he? I don't know. It was a good
ball.
Was
actually
cross.
It was almost beyond the back post when he headed it.
Yeah, he was heading it back, wasn't he? But as you say about Jackson, first off, and certainly Wolfenden as well. Wolfenden was nipping in front of his player, wasn't he, and releasing it quickly down the wing to Jackson. We played Jackson perfectly in that first half, didn't we? Exactly as we all know he should be played. It's just down that channel. He did it once on the left channel as well. He took it inside his man and cut it back. But as Dave said, it was often crossing it into areas that he would hope that someone would have been, rather than specifically picking someone out with his cross.
Craig, we'll talk about composure when it comes to the Oxford goal, but I think composure maybe is the issue. Craig, it opens up a little bit from 30 to 40. In the first game against Oxford, there was much more of a sense that they were able to play through and try and go through the central midfield and then out to the wide guys. I thought in this game they were very much restricted to the counter, trying to find the hole on the side of the wing backs. We did get a nice little end-to-end period, and I must just say the most Ipswich thing I've ever seen when Oxford run that counter attack and the guys coming away, and of course I'm right on it. I'm saying to Garbett, bring him down. Garbett tries the tactical foul, misses the tactical foul, but still gets the yellow card.
Gets booked, and they had the chance, don't they? So they still get the chance.
That was peak Ipswich. He tries to make the tactical foul. Well, I'll take the yellow card. Doesn't even make it, but it's probably my fault for going bring him down. I'm that type of football fan. And Craig, on 43, Dave, I don't know whether he agreed with me when I saw him at half time, but I say lovely goal. I think this is a nice goal, and the one moment of the half when there was some composure in the box sadly comes from Oxford on 43.
When you see it back, it's a quite nice constructed goal, really.
Yeah, it is, and sort of Edwards he drifts inside, doesn't he? He's the other side of the centre circle, isn't he? It's a bad touch, and then they're on it, pouncing it straight away. And because Edwards is so out of position, again, like we saw against Burton, there's a bit of a swathe of space on his side of the pitch.
This ball that Ruffles plays to break the lines, we didn't play that pass, did we? At any point during the game, it was all down the sides. But a ball from the fullback zone into the number 10 zone to break the lines, we didn't manage to play that ball, did we? Yeah, it is, Dave. But we didn't do that, did we?
No. And the thing is, once they did it, they quickly moved it into the area. And Henry he had his first touch, wasn't it?
I got that wrong in my review. I thought he had a touch.
He did it first time, didn't he? But it was
great composure,
beautiful cushioned, as you say, composure. They were just far more clinical. And as we were alluding about Jackson just knocking the ball into space, he didn't knock it into space. He picked out Taylor. He knew exactly what he was doing. But what you notice is when is it Brannigan that was running with the ball?
Brannigan,
yeah. Like Wolfenden's following him, isn't he? And sort of ushering him. And then for some reason, Chambers decides to step out with him and leave Taylor all by himself around the 6-yard box. So, yeah, I don't know. But, once it's in the area, it's beautiful. It's a good pass from Taylor, and it's pretty simple.
What's your take on that one, Dave?
Taylor.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you see it back, it's a well-constructed goal. I mean, Edwards doesn't cover himself. It's a terrible touch in the centre circle there. But, yeah, once Ruffles plays it in the Brannigan, yeah, it is a nice goal. Yeah, really good from Henry. Just really good composure.
Yeah.
And as Craig rightly said, Chambers just gets drawn in. So Taylor, one touch, gives Holy the eyes and passes it in. He's done quite well. I think he's like 14 goals he's got. I think he's done quite well for them, hasn't he?
He went for a bit of money across Bristol, didn't
City. He? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And this, Dave, this was my problem when I was doing my post-match yesterday. I kept using the word context in the fact that as soon as the context of the game changes, and I know you've spoken, and now you're chasing the lead, basically when that goal went in, we were done. We were done mentally. Do you agree?
I mean, bad time to score. Yeah, the classic just before half-time, almost sucker punch. They had quite a good shot, didn't they? Someone hit a shot which Holy dealt with quite well, I think, only minutes before they scored. But other than that, they hadn't really done much at all, and we were, by far the more dominant side, and certainly chances up till then. But you could see it. They go in half-time, tails up. We go in half-time having had reasonable chances, not scored. You're very much down, and I don't think. Tough to just came out second half and really huffed and puffed for the balance of the second half. Really,
well, I think was it Joe or Richard in our WhatsApp group shared the XG map, and it's just flat lines in the second half, doesn't it? Craig, there's a bit of a sense that the first 5 minutes of the second half they're up and judges at it, and we force a couple of corners, but it's a bit of a game of where's Wally, as in. Spot the chance here, and this is the point where the frustration kicks in about 55, and this is the big problem I've got with this team this season, is that when you're in this mode, you need to stick to whatever your plan is and your philosophy, and if the philosophy, as Dave said, is you're going to have two and you're going to try and get Judge playing, going to get the wing backs forward, if one holds you're going to get a centre back forward. Didn't see any of this, and I have to say I felt very sorry for Will Keane and Caden Jackson, who continually had Dickey and Moore just headering everything away, and a whole series of long balls launched forward to the two of them. Why did this unravel maybe 10 minutes even into the second half, Craig?
Confidence. But we've seen it time and time again, haven't we? And it's a subject we go over all the times. How often have we seen two halves that are vaguely similar? We played so well that first half. I know we didn't create many chances. Their goal, as ever, we didn't really work their goalkeeper. I think we had one shot on target in the first half.
And a good save from Keane, point blank.
Yeah, that was it.
He did that good save.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? But we certainly didn't deserve to be losing going into half time, but we were. And then it's the confidence thing, and our game plan just seems to unravel. And as I said before, who is there on the pitch just saying, "Come on, fellas, let's stick to what we were good at." We've kept
get hold of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know what time did Bishop come on and we changed the shape.
70.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that didn't help matters either, did it?
We'll get to that substitution, Craig.
I mean, I think what perhaps doesn't help is that Holy's got a massive kick. I said, Ben. That's
tremendous.
6'7",
huge kick.
Is it are we more direct than by design, because he has? I mean, he can. Crikey, it's unbelievable.
I'm not talking about Holy. I don't want to bury Chambers. I'm talking a lot about Chambers as well. And especially from that middle centre back, just straight balls. And can I make some kind of defence of Will Keane? Right, players are either strong and good in the air, or they're not. Yes, you can practice and this, that, and the other. And yes, Will Keane is a tall man, but you're either good in the air or you're not good in the air. And I get very upset with look, obviously I sat next to this idiot abusing Will Keane for the whole second half. But if you're not good in the air, even if you're a fairly tall man, it is not your fault if the ball is booted up to you against Dickey and Moore, who are good in the air.
I was going to just quickly add to that. Unfortunately, I think the other family brother got the heading genes, didn't he?
Right, there you go. Craig?
But then, as you say, it's not necessarily him not being particularly good in the air. Everybody that he comes up against in that division is going to be very, very, very good in the air, aren't they? So he's going to have to be extra specially good in the air to
if he's receiving that kind of service. My issue is with the service, not with... look, okay, Norwood is better. We know that. Norwood's our only good aerial striker at the moment, but I have a bit of an issue with...
Can I make it a point? Did we ever effectively replaced Daryl Murphy. I'll stop there.
We're not going back down that rabbit hole, are we?
No.
That will take at least 4 minutes. Leon Best is the answer,
I was
Dave.
going to say Leon Best hasn't got a club at the moment,
Leon,
has he? I'm sure.
David Best, of course.
There we go. Dave, what happened to Chambers on 60 when Taylor gets in behind him?
Yeah, he just switches right off, doesn't he? I think, and a bit of ball watching there. Great touch from Taylor, unbelievable touch from Taylor, and yeah, Holy does quite well there because he comes out quite quickly and closes him down well. But yeah, I think he's just guilty of ball watching. I think to be perhaps give him a little bit, the ball tends to sort of drift a bit further than he anticipated. A brilliant touch from Taylor. But yeah,
I must just address that the last real clear chance I've got down as 52 when Edwards comes into the box.
Shin, doesn't it?
Doesn't expect to get it. Does it hit his thigh or his thigh or his shin?
Doesn't it?
Has a header from a corner, doesn't he?
I think that's prior to that, Dave, the one that gets tipped over.
One of those early corners, yeah.
Yeah. So here come the changes. Sykes comes in for Holland, and then Lambert responds, Dave, by taking out Gwion Edwards, putting Ted Bishop in, sticking Wolfenden right back, Garbett goes back to full back. 4-4-F in 2, Judge down the right, Bishop down the left, Nolan and down central. I said on my post-match again, I can say with hindsight that didn't work. If it had have worked, it would have worked. Is there a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 you can use in this scenario? Especially, broken record, given you're up against the central midfield three.
Yeah, it all looked a bit disjointed. And I thought, okay, different scenario, different game. You know, Craig has already said, you know, Burton was so easy to play for. But, you know, the straight swap Bishop, I think, for Judge last week, wasn't it? Just seemed to work. But Bishop was out on a limb. We didn't really see what I think once, perhaps he shrugged his shoulder and broke the line once. But other than that, he just didn't land on the ball
also,
at all.
Dave, what about Keane back to 10 and Sears on up front with Jackson and
absolutely
try and shorten the passes. Craig, what was your view on that shape change?
I just think it completely negated us. We went to a very, very flat 4-4-2. We ended up playing 4 players out of position. We had Wolfenden at right back. We had Garbett, who was now going to be less effective because he was playing left back. You got Bishop wide left and Judge wide right. It just seemed to my eyes, it just seemed that Lambert thought, "Oh, this worked last week. We're going to do it again." Mm-hmm. But there was no reason. You could have kept the same shape but changed the personnel who maybe not have worked. Now, Judge wasn't having his greatest game, was he? So straight swap Bishop for Judge, for example.
Which is what he did. The week before.
Yeah, we had Hughes was on the bench. Could have swapped him out for Nolan just to get something different in there. I just thought that the change itself took far too long to happen. And I sit, I think, a little bit above Dave. I'm at the top of the co-op, above the corner flag there where the tunnel is. So when I look at the rare occasions we are attacking, I have to look past our bench towards the north stand. And you can see Lambert's there and he's forever just chatting away with chatting away with Gill.
Writing a lot of notes.
Writing like sitting
Nothing
down.
wrong with writing a lot of notes at the football, Dave.
I'd say if you're
unless you're a highly paid football manager.
Exactly.
There just seems to be so much.
Make the decision.
Yeah, so much procrastination, and if that's what they came up with after chatting about it for a quarter of an hour, then I'd be very concerned.
And Lambert in his post-match said, uttered the immortal phrase, 2 number 10s. So we're going for Harry from Bath's famous Brazil 1982 Magic Square. No, that didn't happen, did it?
We certainly weren't playing with 2 number 10s. Because I could see on 85 minutes...
I couldn't see one, Craig.
Well, Taylor shouted out to Bishop, 10. He was actually showing him 2 hands, 10, 10, go 10. And that was on 85 minutes. It certainly wasn't when Bishop came on.
And I certainly didn't see anything resembling Socrates and Zico either, Ben.
Well, no, to be fair, it looked like there was a few 70-year-old men chain smoking.
He did. Craig, he can't resist. Sometimes I'll drop something in, and he might even wait like 5-10 minutes, but he'll still come. He'll talk about the 3-2 game with Italy in due course. And just nothing for the last 10 minutes or so. Oxford managing it really well now. We're starting to get the frustration, and I sort of I sort of tapped out about 75 minutes. I'm famous for doing this in football matches, going, now we're done. This isn't happening. You just tell by the body language. But Craig, controversy. Freddie Sears comes on for Alan Judge, which on 90 minutes, which irked a lot of people. Can I just, in Lambert's defence, say he did make his move on 70 minutes, but a lot of people seemed very irritated that Sears, his move obviously didn't work, so everyone forgot about it. But Sears coming on with 3 seconds to go or whatever.
Yeah, that was a strange. But given that we were losing, we only made one sub in effect, didn't we? Not counting Sears.
In normal time, basically, yes.
Yeah, but does that necessarily knock on to the fact that our bench was a bit samey? We had Hughes, Dazelle, Skews as your central midfielders. Was there space on the bench for Dobra, for example? Just something a little bit different than what was
yesterday.
Than what was there. Because he probably looked around and thought, well, I'm only changing like for like anyway.
But Craig, in the 92nd minute, and I must admit, I was the fan who got this completely wrong. There's a coming together between Jackson. Was it Dickie again, Dave?
It was Dickie.
Dickie was all
tricky.
over it yesterday,
he
wasn't
was tricky all game.
Which
Dickie.
I actually didn't think was a foul. I may be wrong about that. I didn't abuse the referee though. I just kind of yelled. But apparently, a bit of a stampy from Caden Jackson in stoppage time of a game you've already lost with your centre forward just gone for an operation and Freddie Sears not quite fit. First of all, Craig, I don't know if you've seen a replay. Is it violent conduct, serious foul play? Does he stamp on him?
Well, yeah, as you say, it's a bit of a tangle, isn't it, to start with, and Dickie ends up on the floor. And it's, as I was
saying, sort of there, isn't it?
Yeah, and as I was saying earlier, I'm right in the other far
there,
corner.
Dickie's on the floor.
Yeah. And he has
I've got to remove myself somehow.
According to Rich has communicated that it was a stamp. Whether he could see it, whether people who were in the North Stand see it, they reckoned it was a stamp. So there's going to be no appeal, I wouldn't think, and it's going to be a three game ban, which would tie nicely with the same amount of time that Norwood's off. I thought.
Yeah, marvellous. Yeah, it was a bit of. It seemed like a bit of, as they used to say, a bit of afters, isn't it? A bit of afters.
But David, is frustration at having the ball
challenge
booted
fine,
up to you?
The ball, he tries to sort of manoeuvre the ball away and sort of get tangled up. The first challenge is fine. Then he comes back for a bit of afters, and again from totally over opposite side to me. And just seeing the highlights on Quest or something like that, it's hard to tell, but it looks like he does put his foot in there.
But he hasn't shown he's that sort of player in the previous 2 years. So where's it suddenly come from? As you say, an injury time of a game you've already lost.
Frustration,
when you can do without him bloody well.
Frustration.
I think it's one of those instances.
The assistant's got a great view, as
he was all over it, wasn't he? I think it's one of those instances where players, and they do it, they try and leave one on and get away. We saw Livermore do it against Forest in the Championship a couple of weeks ago.
It just wasn't cute enough.
Yeah, they leave one on. But so that will be Caden Jackson, assuming serious foul play or violent conduct, whichever one. That's a 3-game ban. So 4-2-3-1 ahoy. Bring it on, I say. But shall we go to some questions, gentlemen? These will be fun, won't they?
Yeah.
What have we got here? Should we try and take some from names we haven't heard before? Here we go. Ryan Lambert. There we go. Any relation to Paul Craig? I don't think the postponements have been the issue. More that when we did them, the rest wasn't enough for the regulars. Craig, the postponements have been coming back up now. What, in your view, was the impact of the postponements? Can we lay any blame back to autumn and postponing games?
We just had momentum, didn't we, back then? I don't know. I'm of the opinion that we should have played them. That if you look back and look at the players that we would have lost, and I see, I get the argument. You want to go in with your strongest available squad, but we just had so much momentum behind us, and we were winning games, not necessarily playing well, which is a good sign. So they say, we reckon that we may have been able to recall Downs had he been one of the ones that had been called up because of the age group he was playing in, rather than it being a senior squad and things like that. at the time, I was of the opinion that we should have played the matches, and I haven't changed that opinion at all.
Also,
I just think,
weather was better, pitches were better.
yeah, I don't know. Lambert was just trying to be too bloody clever, and that whole autumn he was just trying to be too clever for his own good.
Dave, this is Ty. Why have we stopped talking about our lowest league position since? We're all desperately looking up, but the reality is we are in free fall. So what? I assume that we can tack another couple of years on, being as we had the promotion. How far back are we going now for this lowest
Well, it's
position?
57, so it'd be the season before we got promoted, so it'd be 1956, I guess, when we were last in this.
Is that significant to you, Dave?
Third tier, not particularly, really, is it? I don't know. Not really. Doesn't resonate with me. I honestly think, sadly, we're going to have to suffer. I hate to say it, a lot more pain before it gets better. I think I can see it. I really do.
Shows a trend, doesn't it? Though that's the thing.
Yeah.
Arthur Pickthorne, Dave, says, any chance we might see Ben Morris get involved now? Don't talk to me specifically about Morris, Dave, but do you now change the system to a number 9, either in a 4-2-3-1 and 2 wide players, or with supporting cast behind him, or will we see 2 up top in whatever configuration?
I think we'll see 2 up top, configuration, Keane, Sears, and whatever configuration from then on. I don't see it. I mean, Morris, okay, I know he's back, free from injury. I think he's been scoring 1 or 2 goals for the 23s, but he hasn't been. I haven't seen him named even in a squad. So yeah, just change the subject. Like Craig, I'd like to see someone like Dobra on the bench who can come on and give you something slightly different. Very young, but can give you something different. But no, I mean, I can see him going with Keane and Sears. Worryingly, on the way home last night on Suffolk, I think I heard Mills and Brenner talking about, these. Are there any free agents out there? And you thought, Christ, has it really come to that? Has it really come to that?
You say about Sears though, but Lambert's still questioning whether he'll be. He hasn't taken a tackle yet. He keeps going on about he hasn't faced a strong tackle yet.
Why is he putting that in his head?
Yeah, quite. Yeah, I want you to. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't see for all. We said he's 6'2", 6'3", not in the air. Heading's not his forte. You don't really see Keane leading the line on his own, do you?
No. Craig, this is from Dave. After the Rotherham, Peterborough and Sunderland defeats, we say goodbye to automatic promotion. Has Saturday's defeat ended the playoff hopes?
I don't think it hasn't ended them, has it? It's put a bloody great spanner in the works, but we'll know. As I think Joe's pointed out, there's some midweek games, aren't there, this week that don't include us, where everyone can sort of get to more of a level playing field in terms of games played.
And maybe their strikers will get red carded for violent conduct at the end of the games when they're losing.
Yeah, or pull a groin or something like that, maybe. I don't imagine, even before yesterday, we were sort of fighting for 5th and 6th place, weren't we? Christ, I thought it would be along with people like Wickham, but they won again. So
they're staying there, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Staying there.
It'll be a fun away game for someone in the playoffs, won't it?
What was quite interesting is on the way home I was listening to talk about Mick Mills, and he was saying he reckons we're still going to get in the playoffs, and the reason he gave, and the reason he gave was for other teams up and down form. Well, if you look at the form table, other teams haven't got up and down form at all.
Not at all.
They're flying high and winning most weeks. We're the ones with the form in the bottom third of the league. I did a bit of this. You've got Fleetwood 5 on the spin, Sunderland 4 on the spin. Obviously, Coventry 5 on the spin. They're all really in. Yeah, a lot of these challenges around us are all in great form.
Fleetwood beat Pompey yesterday as well, didn't they?
Well, even after that, the top 8. I've got the form table in front of me. The top 8 of the form table are Coventry, Fleetwood, Peterborough, Sunderland, Gillingham, Rotherham, Portsmouth, and Wickham.
That's how it should be though at this time of the season, isn't it?
Yeah,
those people all in.
Yeah, Gillingham undefeated since like December, aren't they? Yeah.
Whose question is it? Yours, Dave. This is Matt. He says the first game I've left Portman Road this season actually fuming. Why after bossing the first half with a multitude of chances did Lambert get them going long every single time. Was it Lambert getting them to go long, or was it the players running out of ideas?
Players running out of ideas there. I think the goal when it was scored after our reasonable domination of the first half just completely knocked the stuffing out of us. Really, you'd like to think what was said at half time, but because we did, Craig's right. We did start the second half fairly well for the first few minutes and got a few corners, and you think, okay, we can get a goal back, and maybe, but after that it just completely petered out, and lack of confidence, lack of bravery on the ball, and they were very mobile, as you said. They closed us down pretty well, didn't they? Especially in midfield, quite mobile, quite fluid, and just basically ran out of ideas other than the thump forward from Holy in the end, which played totally into Brown and Moore and our friend Dickie's hands.
Judge had a poor game, didn't he? Yesterday he was nowhere.
Yesterday.
He was,
I thought he was good for the first 20 minutes, but then thereafter,
see him land on the ball at all, really.
Yeah, exactly. He's had his one decent game for the month or so, and it was last week.
You honestly think of that game last week, where I think comfortably it's the best game for us, and you think, come on, kick on, grab hold of this game by the scruff of the neck.
But Dave, in Judge's position, there's two things you can do. There's one is trust your centre mids and try and find the space, try and be the outball for them. The other thing that you see a number 10 doing is come back into the centre and actually get involved. And I feel sometimes that actually if it is crowded in there, actually come in, because he's very good in tight space. He's got a good first touch. He can turn.
He goes wide though, doesn't he? That's what he does.
He tries exactly. He tries to find the space, and then we're a little bit unmanned. Which kind of plays into ITFC Mark's question, which says for Ben. So I'll take this one, guys. It's my question. Players have the ability. Fitness is their formation should work. Would you therefore agree it's Paul Lambert's game plan they're working to that's at fault? Is he overthinking it? How would you set up the team? And what game plan would you get them working to? I think we talked about this all season, is that we're not necessarily bothered what the shape, what the personnel is, if it's a steady plan we're working for. I kind of agree a little bit with Dave that it looks like you do need a sitter in this three, and if you can rely on Wolfenden to get forward with Edwards or Vincent Young and Earl, who was actually Earl was all right, wasn't he? To get forward with Garbett, that maybe that's a better attacking outlet than playing through central midfield, which we have not been able to do basically since Joe Royle and George Burley.
I hate to say it, but don't shoot me down. But I don't know, thousands.
I was going to say, excuse Craig.
He is,
and he probably is the best sitter still.
If you can attack down the sides.
And then that's where Vincent Young, perhaps that's where we missed him.
But why can't we play through central midfield?
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Oh no, we should be able to. We should be able to. Yeah.
I don't know about this Goran Rodriguez bloke for Oxford. Why can Oxford have a deep line playmaker and Ipswich can't?
We haven't had one of those since. Well, we know
Jim.
when. Probably. James.
Giselle on the bench.
Well, yeah. I mean, there is. He hadn't quite realised how he hasn't featured since Exeter, has he? I didn't realise quite how far back that was. So beginning of January, yeah.
And he's only on the bench. He was only on the bench yesterday because Norwood was out.
Yeah.
As usual, we say thank you to everybody.
He's got to go, hasn't he?
We say thank you to everybody who asked questions. I tried to read out a few names I hadn't seen before. Please do continue asking the questions. We love it. We like the debate on the Twitter thread, and it's always a nice part of the show because we can get a little barometer of what fans think, rather than our own little Blue Monday echo chamber, which we do love to perpetuate sometimes, don't we, Dave? There we go.
Yeah, we do. I mean, what I think we would say, it's certainly at the end there, I hung about for a few minutes just to see. I don't know if Craig did or you did, Ben, at the end, just to see the reaction, and it's definite signs of But
Dave, what's your view on that? Because we heard Lambert sort it out, which is not Mick McCarthy, your football is shit. Mick McCarthy, get out of our club. It's Lambert sort it out. We did hear some boos, and they were getting after Keane and Jackson as well, weren't they? When the ball wasn't sticking the north.
Yeah,
stand
I
as
must
well.
admit I didn't hear that too much, but at the end, certainly Lambert copped for some flag, and as he walked off in front of our stand, it was a bit cluffy. Whoa, Lambert, you're a disgrace! There was a lot of the old Lambert, you're a disgrace came out.
Craig,
there was one or two of those quite vociferous at the front of the upper tier there. I haven't seen that before.
What's it going to take for a turn, Craig? I'm thinking of Burley at home to Stockport. When time runs out, maybe the playoffs are, when playoffs are a midweek game. Do you think there's a turning point, or is it just if you drop too far below that playoff line?
Yeah, it's when we start getting cut adrift from, when you look above, and I don't wish this to sound how it's going to sound, but when you're dropping below teams like Fleetwood and Wickham, and you're looking above and seeing them start pulling away, and Gillingham are, just below us, then, people are going to start getting angry about it, aren't they?
If Oxford get a point midweek at home to Accrington, which I guess you'd fancy them to, will be 9th.
Yeah. And then Gillingham are 5th in the form table, and they're not far behind us, are they? And they've got a decent striker playing for them every week up front, so I hear. Don't know where they got him from.
Have we got a recall? Have we got a recall clause on that?
No,
obviously not. No recall.
No.
No, you wouldn't have to the end of the season, would you?
Steve Evans, for goodness sakes.
Oh my God.
Dear oh me. Yeah, that was lovely, wasn't it? Should we talk about Blackpool then? Simon Grayson did not last long there. David Dunn in charge now at Blackpool. And 0-0 with AFC Wimbledon yesterday. They won at Portman Road, didn't they, Blackpool?
Drew.
Was it a drawing?
Didn't they? Was it
2-2?
2-2. Yeah, Drew.
In this window alone, though, this was what interested me before Grayson went. Boller came back on loan. They took Maxwell, famous for going safari for Preston last season in goal. Gary Medine, who, if you're looking for a hulking, proven
good sign, I think, at that
level striker. James Husband's come in. Got Taylor Moore from Bristol City, who's played a lot of Championship, and Jordan Thornley as well, and obviously the lesser spotted Grant Ward. We're going away, Dave. We've not really got any more than one fit striker. We talked a little bit about system, but what's going to be the approach for this one?
It's going to be a tough one, I think. I mean, Blackpool are sort of fairly, I think, entrenched in mid-table, aren't they? They've sort of, they've got, but reasonably comfortable 16th. There's a bit of a gap there, isn't it, between Tranmere third?
Oh, there's some dirge.
Loads of points.
No danger, yeah.
I think Tranmere third bottom and about 7 or 8 points adrift. I think I can't remember. I mean, he's got this guy up front, Gron, whatever he is, who's fairly prolific, hasn't he? I think if he's fit, he'll play. So he'll be an issue. The guy up front, Gronwy, sounds like snails. What's his name? Granole, or whatever his name is. It's going to be difficult. We need to start picking up points away. We had a great away record. We were, certainly top of the form table. And the away form table certainly leading up, probably just after Christmas into January, probably. Those results had dropped off. You haven't beaten teams like Wimbledon away, where we should have done. Probably arguably should have won at Wickham away. Again, it's that same old. Every week we're saying it. We desperately need 3 points. And now you're not looking at Coventry at Rotherham. You're now looking at the likes of Fleetwood and Portsmouth and teams like that now.
Craig?
Yeah, no, exactly. Agree with Dave. But we now don't have strikers. If we're hanging our hat on Will Keane and Freddie Sears and Teddy Bishop and Alan Judge to score our goals, then crikey, we better be creating a fair few chances, because they don't score. They're not prolific enough, are they? They're not clinical enough. Bishop scored 1 goal in his entire Ipswich career. Judge hasn't scored many more than that, has he? Sears is not fit. Keane scored 3 in a season so far.
Ironically, those chances yesterday that Jackson did flash across, they were the sort of chances perhaps Norwood not. Do you know what I mean? Not type one-on-one chances. You recall the goal he scored at Southend, exactly the same type of goal. He was in that position.
Or Dave, would he have been the one pushing right in on the 6-yard line to give Jackson the tap-in passes as well. You know.
Yeah.
Dave, are we expecting then? Let's be honest about this. It's going to be 3-5-2. Vincent Young's not going to be back yet.
No.
It's going to be basically Sears for Jackson, and that's it, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere else to go. Like I said, I would personally like to see the likes of Dobber on the bench, just because he is someone that can come on and someone different who we perhaps haven't got at the moment.
Any chance of Hughes for Nolan, Craig, or is that you said
that's
everything's a little bit similar?
Hughes,
Yeah, he might be, but then Nolan played 90 minutes, didn't he, yesterday? So is there any inclination that he's going to get swapped out? But just purely from maybe a freshening of things up, then yeah, possibly. I don't know whether he'd trust Bishop from the start. Probably not. So if there are changes, it'll be minimal changes, I would have thought, and maybe Hughes for Nolan, and then obviously probably Sears for Jackson up front. But I know to speak about it earlier, but Downs yesterday, he was just we're going to miss Downs when he goes in the summer, because he was just everywhere for a kid. 21 years old, he was just bossing that midfield first half. He's just so strong, just gets his body in the way, and he's got a great touch in little tight areas. He's going to be a hell of a player for someone.
He really will. He's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he?
Yes.
You tell you what, you make a very good point there. He uses his body really well, really cleverly.
Do you know what?
For a kid that young to do that against
so well. Yeah. That's for me. Him and Wolfenden too. Yeah, they've been the only bright spots really this season, haven't they? Let's face it. But sadly,
Wolfenden will do well to stay another. He'll need to stay another year with us. I think if he's got any sense about him, he needs another full year.
I think you're right. Yeah, Downs has got that advantage.
I think Reading will sell John Swift, and Downs will go to Reading for 1.2 million or something horrible like that,
and then sell him for £20 million the following summer.
to Bournemouth.
That's the usual modus operandi, isn't it? That's
God, stop it!
Pressing.
Well, we tried our best, guys. We tried our best.
Remember that very first month, Ben, when we started the pod all those 5 years ago, and we had Fraser and Pittman, and Fraser was scoring delightful goals at Preston, and we were at the top of the league, and we thought, God, this podcast looks bloody easy, isn't it? Just come on, have a bit of a laugh. Everyone's upbeat. It's bloody brilliant.
Well, we still have a laugh.
I know.
we have more of a laugh than the Slough lot, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so. We still love it, but yeah, sad times, guys.
You've got to laugh. You've got to laugh.
And I think there's a fair few of us now going down to Bristol.
Yes.
Why? But
so there may be some live pod action at Bristol.
Pod shenanigans, isn't it? We're Southwest guys.
We're working on it. Craig, I asked you what day will it turn. There you go. Bristol Rovers away. That would be the one, because we're all
11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Oh dear. Craig, any last words from you? You're not going to die. Well, hopefully not. But
yeah, depends how the Tuesday night games go.
Dave, we haven't had one. Can you just give us a crap
and Upper Town.
Stick with it, everyone. You never know. Could win the next 8 games. Lots of them are at home, apparently, but I've been told off I'm not allowed to say that anymore. Especially
we're hanging our hat on those two Bolton and consecutive home games against Bolton and Southend.
Oh my God, that's what we're hanging our hat on.
When we're languishing down in 12th.
It's all right. We got Milton Keynes at home on the last day. That'll get us over the line, won't it?
Nailed on.
Right, Dave. The last word of this pod should be crap. Can you do it again?
Crap.